I'm just here to say this episode is gonna be different. We brought in Zach, Kyle and Will McGee to record a podcast together. So I hope you enjoy this special episode. Cue the intro. Just two buffoons with soothing voices. It's Vibin with Braden and Michael.
So, welcome to the Will McGee experience. I'm joined by, of course, Will McGee, and I'm not Will McGee,
But I am.
but he is.
There's a ladybug.
There's a dead ladybug on the table now. No, don't. No, hold on.
Can you like get out?
I tried flicking it at Michael, it didn't work. Thank you.
Fun fact: girls actually do pee. And they
False.
do fart. They do
No,
fart.
no, they don't.
They do.
No.
I've
No.
proven this. Girls fart and poop and pee.
No, they don't. Take it back. What we're discussing today, right? It says right here on the itinerary, right? It says we're discussing Jim Croce's music.
I thought you were saying Jim Crow. All right, what's first? On the
All
Jim?
right, so not Jim Crow laws, but Jim Croce music, right? So you're familiar with the smash hit "Bad Bad" Leroy Brown, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So everyone knows that song, really, and everyone knows the oh so famous lyric "meaner than a junkyard dog," right?
Yes.
Well, originally the lyric was "meaner than a concentration camp dog."
Right.
But he changed it because he thought it was unpleasing to the ear. Never mind the fact that it was offensive to millions of Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, and political prisoners and the like, and the countless others. Anyway, back to what I was talking about Jim Croce's music, right? So never mind that it was offensive to all those minority groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little did it matter, he'd be dead within a year. That's true, he died in like a plane crash or something.
Sad.
Tragic.
I don't
Destiny
think we
2
can name drop
sucks. Destiny
Bungie
2
and
sucks.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
That is,
Xbox controllers,
Wait, no, say it
PlayStation
into the mic so that we know
peripherals.
Xbox.
Xbox controllers are much better. They look better.
My hands are big enough though, so it's.
Yeah, I have man hands.
Yeah, me too.
Xbox controllers look better. They
That's
play
true.
better.
Also, the
can-
Xbox Elite controllers are just really nice.
You've never used an Xbox controller. If you think a PlayStation one's better.
Yeah, I've played PlayStation for a very long time, right? And I still prefer the Xbox controllers.
I own both.
Wow.
Bought it with my job.
Rich girl.
Yeah, I bought a PlayStation when I got a job. I mean, it's got good games, good exclusives.
That's true.
But
That's true. I'd say
only
it's
use it
better
for-
exclusives.
unless
Unless
I
you
only
like
use
playing
it for
Forza,
space.
which Forza's like the
Forza.
definitive car game, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Need for Speed, maybe.
no,
But it's on both.
Yeah, it's not exclusive, and it also kind of sucks.
Nicholas buys it.
Yeah, no, he does.
He bought a
Nicholas
new one
kinda
the
sucks.
day it came out.
Yeah, let's talk about not Watergate, but the Iowa caucus now. So, as I'm sure you're all familiar with, because you know our target demographic watches the news, votes in elections, and is above like 13 years of age. If you're not, you shouldn't have an account on YouTube.
All right,
I think that's against their guidelines.
delete it.
What do you want, Michael?
Majority of like 7th graders watch this too.
That's the joke.
That's the
That's
joke
the
there.
joke.
That's the joke
That
there.
is the joke.
Like,
That's the
entire
joke, Michael.
Okay.
You're awful, Michael.
Am I?
Yeah.
Or am I just misunderstood? Call
That's
me
not-
Joker, baby.
You know, there was a setup there, and you knew. I'll give you partial points. You knew that there was a setup for a joke there, but you completely botched it and butchered it, and the execution was horrible.
How?
So overall, negative 40 points. Please see me after class.
I feel like this is the trial. You know where you guys cut my head off with the sabers and
You know,
Sword.
that was really funny,
Never had
and then
mercy on me, and then we cut And I think that's where the hatred. Nick he just hates me. And I've been nice to him the past like week, and he still hates me. He's like, he shoved me in the hall like at Monday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what you do?
What?
You know what you do to counteract people?
Kill him.
People doing that? I'll tell you what you do. You hoss up and you act like a man and you shove them back.
No.
Anyway, so a mutual friend of ours, one Ashton Baker, right? So like our freshman year and a little bit of our sophomore year, he was really grabby. He's a really physical person, just always touching you, right? So every time that he touched us, we hit him as hard as we could, and now he doesn't touch us nearly as often.
Right.
Which is
Behavioral therapy.
yeah, we used negative reinforcement.
Science terms.
Mm-hmm.
Swouse, as they say.
That's why city boys drive lifted trucks.
You gotta hate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I drive a lowered truck that still has paint on the body panels on the driver's. We're gonna talk about how women aren't real. Have you ever seen a woman in real life? Didn't think so.
Is she real?
No. It's just a hallucination, man. What about music? Music recommendations?
Yes, music. Talk
I was
about
thinking
Alright,
about
cool.
a movie.
Oh, movies? We
But
can
I
do that
don't-
too.
I
We can
don't
do
know.
both. We can do both.
do all three.
Alright. So, seen any good movies lately? That's an oxymoron. No good movies were released recently. Except The Irishman. The Irishman is super good. You should watch that.
The Rise of Skywalker.
That movie was okay, I guess. I mean, it was good, except the fight against. It's been
The
it's
whole
been a while.
fight.
The fight against the Emperor sucked. I'll say it.
Except for when he got super powerful. That was cool. But
Yeah, except when he. Yeah,
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was about it.
that was a cool part. They're not using speeders. They're using horses. Yeah, they're also using
Disgusting.
slings and arrows and.
Question. Yo, I saw 1917.
Was
last
that
Friday.
good?
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah,
see
I heard
it.
it's good.
It's like the whole after I think it was mostly one shot, if not the whole movie.
It was definitely not because
No,
I
I
watched.
think it was like the first 20 minutes weren't one shot, but then after that it was all one shot.
No, I heard that's actually footage from 1917.
Yeah, it's restored.
Really?
Yeah, it's found
I know
footage.
it's a true story. It's
It's all found footage. It's super cool that they did that.
It's like Blair Witch Project.
what?
Like
Yeah.
the Blair Witch Project.
Never mind.
It's-
Never
Tell me
mind.
about it. Come
No,
on.
it's just
Okay.
Google it, bro.
Kids.
You have a cell phone right there.
Dude, I'm kinda
All
lazy,
right.
dude.
So yeah, the Irishman was super good. The Rise of Skywalker was
It's alright.
okay.
It was okay.
What else did I watch recently?
Raylo, we out here.
Quit talking.
Yeah, really. Is this your show?
No.
Are you the
it's
guest?
not. Get out.
Back off. Back off. All right. So music, right?
I would recommend. My favorite band is probably the Effingham High School Red Regiment.
You're wrong.
I think so.
The band sucks.
Dude.
Real music? Okay.
I don't
So
listen.
I'm a big fan of "Give Us This Day." It's by David Mashlanka. It's got two movements. The first movement is very slow, and the second movement is very fast.
We're talking about music, not band. Yo, what's good?
I'm gonna hit him.
You should.
What's it
Anyway,
called?
"Give Us This Day." It's really good. Also by Mashlanka, "In a Child's Garden of Dreams" is really good. I like that one. Maslanka.
I already know.
Okay.
Oh, good songs. Kung Fu Panda soundtrack.
Yeah. Actually, so everyone is like, Uguay Sens is the best piece of music from that, but they're sleeping on the number best song off the Kung Fu Panda soundtrack besides Uguay Sens has got to be "Sacred Pool of Tears."
It's got
It's
one
so good.
really good part. And it's great.
Yeah, and the rest of the song is
It's
also,
also
good.
good.
So like you're really facing no drawbacks here.
Another good song is what is it from Interstellar?
Mountains.
Mountains.
I've incapacitated him. He's dead.
Good. Let's talk about heavy milk drinking.
Heavy milk drinking. Okay, so I'm doing.
We can't name drop, but you can imply.
Oh yeah, I mean I can.
You can.
So this one guy we know, he's a real kooky character. I'd
Pretty
say.
cool guy.
Yeah, you know him. You know who we're talking about. No. he goes to people's houses, right? He does this thing where
Like
he
to
goes
hang
to your
out.
houses.
Like to do spirit stick.
To hang out, do anything.
to
you know?
do stuff or to just be there momentarily, and then he asks for glasses of milk.
And he'll do it
Oh, I
through
know who that is.
subterfuge. He will ask your,
Yeah, he'll ask your little brother to go get him a glass of milk,
and then he will do so,
and then he'll do so.
and then leave it in
Yeah.
your car that breaks down that day
Yeah.
No,
No, we left in the van.
Or juice box.
This is when you did
after
the,
it broke down.
did the thing with the
Right.
hitting the cat.
That's when I hit my cat.
Yeah. So we roll up to Will's house, right? And we put it in park, and his engine starts smoking.
Yep. And then we
So,
have to take my parents' van. On the way out, we hit my cat. His tail had to be amputated.
What do you mean we?
And
I think it
we
was
as
you,
a
dog.
team hit the cat.
Alright.
And then I got a new car that day. It was my
Yeah.
birthday.
Dude,
That
I
was your
in the
birthday.
car. I was in his van, like we were in
Hey.
the van, and I was like, "Bro, that's your new car."
Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop.
I don't know why you want to stop talking. He's funny.
No.
Yeah.
He's a hilarious person.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, listen, this isn't the Vibin with Michael and somebody else show.
Yeah, shut up.
It's the Will McGee experience. Anyway, so music recommendations. If you want like real music, basically anything by Mac DeMarco.
I vibe with that one.
This goes out to you.
Mac DeMarco is a really good artist. He's emerging. Just crawling across the ground. He's gonna turn the lights off.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
Oh my God,
so
Funny guy.
Mac DeMarco's a really good artist. I've been listening to a lot of Kanye West recently. That's a little controversial because not everybody likes Kanye.
Sure.
Like you're older and you
So I've been listening to a lot of Graduation. Like I've been running that album on repeat, but then also Jesus is King is really good. Yay is a super good album. At least I think it is. I don't know if a whole lot of people like that one.
you like the song Black Skinhead?
It's okay. Right now I've been listening to more of his like gospel stuff. So like I've been listening to a lot of the Sunday Service Choir, which is his church choir, right? They put out an album either on or right before Christmas with a whole bunch of like gospel songs. Revelations chapter 19:1 or just Revelations 19:1 if you don't have much time. It's a really good song. Ultralight Beam is good, both the Kanye version and the Sunday Service Choir version. Father Stretch, or Father Stretch My Hands, Part 1 is also super good. Part 2 is good too. I just like Part 1 better. I've been listening to a lot of, surprisingly, a lot of country music recently. Yeah, so
modern
like
or modern or
old
older?
country. I don't like modern country, with the exception of Eric Church, because I kind of like his voice. So I guess like the moral of the story, right? I've got things to talk about, but I can't really segue into them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it doesn't work if he's there hooting and hollering,
Prolonging
tweaking
every single-
out.
What? I'm
Yeah.
hot.
Please. You know who else got into a car accident kind of recently? Me.
You
Yeah.
hit a semi.
Yeah, back in August. And then in November 1st of the year of our Lord 2019, I woke up to a bunch of car paint on my truck that is still there.
Be a real shame. Unless
Yeah.
someone were to.
Someone
Wash it off.
to hoss up and wash it off.
Right.
Yeah. Or just give me money, like a lot of money. But anyway, more on that semi-accident, right? So the guy that hit me, get this.
I hit it alright.
His name was Yahya in Samir.
Right.
Yeah.
As people are named.
Yeah. The common name of U.S. born children now.
Right.
Yahya in Samir. Well, anyway.
Read Ender's Game.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna talk about some books, I guess. Also, well, we'll start with that. Ender's Game, and by extension, the Ender Quartet. Is it a quintet now? Is
more now.
is Ender in Exile technically a part of that?
Yeah,
or
it
no?
is,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I
There's
haven't read
another
that one.
too coming out.
Yeah, there is, but I don't know. I mean, it gets only more confusing, especially in the later books.
Read 'em. Well,
Anyway,
if you,
so that's a great series. It's by Orson Scott Card. I highly encourage you to check it out. I just finished Children of the Mind a couple weeks ago. It's a super good book. Ending is nice.
strange.
It's strange, yeah. I mean, the series in
whole
and
series
of
is
itself
strange.
is strange. Especially the later ones, especially books 3 and 4. Can't speak to book 5, but he's a great author. I think he does suspense and ethics really well, and I think he does character development. Like all the characters are really fleshed out. Well, kind of, I guess. So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think Valentine isn't very fleshed out as a character. I mean, she kind of is.
I think she does. She gets fleshed out in the Shadow of the Giant. I think, like the second, the Bean following books.
The Shadow series.
Takes
which
place on Earth after a while.
Ender and Exile is supposed to tie those together, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I haven't read those. Eventually I will, of course. But other books that are good, if you like Russian literature, which I do, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I'm building up the courage to read War and Peace. That'll probably be my next big reading project, but I have to actually buy the book. Also, I think I'm going to read Paradise Lost by John Milton, which is like a poem type thing. It's like an epic poem written in like the 1600s.
Isn't that Inferno's?
No, that's
No,
the
is that-
Divine Comedy. It's by Dante Alighieri. This is by John Milton. An Englishman, basically, like the most famous line from Paradise Lost is Satan after being cast out of heaven, right?
Another good book series by Orson Scott Card is the Homecoming series. It's very long.
Just started that, actually.
They piece together 3 books in one hardcover. Well, at least at our school library they do. There's 3 books in one hardcover book.
The Memory of Earth, The Call of Earth, and The Ships, of Earth.
And then there's 3
Maybe
more
not
after
in
that.
order.
I don't know
Yeah.
the name. Reading them now, almost done. There's lots of politics, lots of family development, stuff
Yeah,
like that. It's very...
So from what I can
Interesting.
gather, it's kind of based on like Mormonism, which
Oh.
Orson Scott Card was a Mormon, I think.
Yeah.
I think he might still be.
The entire series follows very closely along with the Book of Mormon, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I've heard his Seventh Son series is good, like the Tales of Alvin Maker.
I
So-
haven't heard those. Or I haven't read those.
Yeah, neither have I. Mrs. Alt told me they were good.
Swouse.
Yeah.
Spelled S-W-A-O-S.
W-A-O-S. Yeah. Oh my god, there's a dog in here. It's a cute dog. Tell me, have you seen any good movies lately?
Nope.
Really? So I watched The Irishman.
Yeah, I saw part of Interstellar, but I did not finish it.
I also have not finished Interstellar. Taylor won't watch it with me because she always wants to watch something that is a bad movie. Like, categorically, she has bad taste in movies. I'm sorry.
Are they like rom-coms and stuff?
No, I don't hate rom-coms, surprisingly. I think they're funny to laugh at.
Like The Ridiculous Six is my favorite rom-com.
But that's mine too. That's actually a funny movie.
Pixels, maybe.
Yeah.
Adam
So-
Sandler comeback.
Yeah, don't call it a comeback. I heard Uncut Gems was something. I don't actually remember hearing if it was bad or good. I feel like people said it was okay. Anyway, so movies. I watched The Irishman on Netflix. Scorsese's newest piece. It's great, of course. They de-aged all the actors in it. So like Joe Pesci and Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro. They do it pretty well. Like,
Is it unnoticeable?
for the most part, yeah. There's a little bit. It looks kind of weird because the face is so complex when you do like lighting and stuff. But they did it really well. And Scorsese, I know, is pretty against a lot of like the CGI type stuff. So
Yeah, I believe he claimed Marvel movies aren't
art
cinema.
movies.
They're not art.
Yeah, they're more like amusement parks.
Yeah, they're
Like rides. So his daughter wrapped all of his Christmas gifts in Marvel wrapping paper this year. I thought that was kind of So yeah, I watched that. I wanted to go see 1917, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Heard it's good. Very good.
I've also heard it's good. I really like Dunkirk, so if it's anything like that, then I'd be okay with that. Speaking of Dunkirk, I'm actually going to see Harry Styles, who was in that movie.
I didn't
He
know
was.
that.
I'm pretty sure he was in that movie. I mean, I can check. Actually, I'm getting a nod from our executive producer that yes, Harry Styles is in that movie. I'm going to see Harry Styles in concert in June, I think. June or July. I don't know why I said that.
It's,
But I guess as a quick aside, and I saw, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, the finale of the new
Star Wars
sequel trilogy. Saw Star Wars.
They Kojima.
Yeah.
It ties in well what the last movie failed to do at all. Like
That's true.
if
So-
the last movie didn't exist, it would be much better.
Yeah, in my opinion, 7 to 9 flows really well.
Yeah.
7 to 8 makes sense.
Yeah, and then 8 to 9.
8 to 9
there's like
is-
a time skip.
Is
and
nothing,
nothing's
because
explained.
it's a time skip of like 4 years and nothing is explained.
Starts off with the Emperor is back.
Yeah.
So,
The dead speak, and you'd only know that if you played Fortnite, right? Because in one of the reveal trailers, they had like one of his broadcasts. That was bizarre.
That's-
to me. Yeah.
I haven't done
Yeah. The dead speak. The Emperor has been broadcasting transmissions for like the last forever
Comes out
because he
nowhere.
just won't die. And then the final battle sucks except for the thing that he does where he makes your eardrums explode. Music in movies, right?
Right.
So when you think of great scores, you think of obviously Hans Zimmer, John Williams, etc., etc. Michael Giacchini, I think that's how you say the guy that did The Incredibles.
I'm not certain.
I'm not certain either. All really good music, but people sleep on the Kung Fu Panda soundtrack.
They very
They
much
really do.
Stop.
Uruguay Sons is of course a beautiful track, but
Most popular.
most popular by far for sure. But people are sleeping on another great track, probably even better, if I dare say so myself.
I thought Hercules, the Disney movie, had a really great soundtrack.
It did, but that's not what we're talking about right now. He's got a point. It's good soundtrack. He's got like the muses and stuff. In it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool. Cool concept. Great film too. Probably one of my favorites. But anyway, so they're sleeping on Sacred Pool of Tears. I'll say that again for you, real slow. Sacred Pool of Tears. It's a great song. He wants the works. He wants the whole works. I'm not gonna sing. That would be doing you a great injustice. Horrible singer. I have a horrid voice.
You wanna plug anything of yours, like the musical?
Oh, no, I don't want to plug the musical because I'm in it. I'm in a role that is demeaning and degrading, and it makes me upset to read the lines. I'm Augustus Gloop. I was typecast as the fat kid, which like I get it, but like, ouch. The Candyman, so I get to sing the best song on the show. So I guess there's a little give and take that you have to do. What you been listening to recently?
I'm listening to Jack FM because
You
I
know,
haven't had time to listen.
they're playing what they want. You gotta say.
70s on 7.
Yeah, it's good too. Okay, so you've been listening to Jack FM.
We have a lot of bloopers.
I figured. It's kind of funny.
That's the Joker dance.
Yeah, that is the Joker. Actually,
No, it's a fireball movie from number 2. The
except
fireball scene.
except he's doing it with fireworks. You freaking imbecile. Never thought Kanye would get me into religion, but that's kind of interesting.
Doing a little blooper action.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a real shame that we had to kill Braden and Michael and take over their podcast.
Yeah,
It's really,
but
it didn't have to go
we
this way.
graciously thank them
For this
and
one.
honor them for letting us use this space. Namaste. Which means the God in me sees and honors the God in you. I get called Jewish all the time.
Hmm.
That's a fact, actually. So the Crusades are interesting, right? Because the first Crusade worked, right? Yeah. And then like the second Crusade kind of didn't work.
Right.
And then there was like the third Crusade that I don't know a whole lot about. I think the Muslims won that one.
I think that's the one where
They lost Jerusalem, but I'm
that's
not
the
sure.
one where the guy locked himself with his 3 brothers in the temple, and they
Right.
lived for a long time. They had the Holy Grail.
That's it.
2 brothers
I think so.
left, and they ended up dying of age, but one stayed behind to test people who came in for the Holy Grail.
That's interesting.
So
That's how we
Indiana
got
Jones 3,
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Good series.
There's only 3 movies in that series.
3 Indiana Jones
3
movies.
Indiana
There's one
Jones.
coming in, I think, this year or next year.
Yeah, I believe
Anyone?
it's this year. That will be the 4th.
Fourth movie.
Are we understood? That's the 4th Indiana Jones movie.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade.
That's it. And then the new one.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the 4th Crusade, the Children's Crusade, if I do recall correctly, where a bunch of children were sent to go and like peacefully convert the Muslims to Christianity, and then they were sold into slave markets in
That
like
is-
Italy and stuff.
That's unfortunate. How are your surveys going?
Oh, my surveys. Well, that's interesting. So our surveys on climate change, right? And we distributed our surveys. We have a Russian lady, maybe, or a French lady. I'm not entirely sure in the studio right
It's
now.
actually Davy Crockett.
Oh,
Or,
you know that?
or Johnny Appleseed.
No, it's not Johnny
Yeah.
Appleseed.
You don't think so?
He had a frying pan on his head, right?
Johnny Appleseed looks like my uncle. My uncle
Maybe-
looks like Johnny Appleseed.
Maybe your uncle is Johnny Appleseed. Have you ever
He's
considered
really tall.
that?
He could have kept growing since then.
It's been a long time. Anyway, so my surveys, right, they're on climate change. I have 5 members in my group. It's,
I think Watergate's okay because Nixon's a cool guy.
yeah.
He had the cool peace pose.
Yeah.
I came to this in
No.
class today, actually, this morning, first hour. I came to the conclusion that Nixon was a cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, it takes serious cojones to pull off something like he did. And then it also takes slightly bigger cojones to, like, basically lie to the Supreme Court. That's kind of cool.
He was a foreign policy advisor to presidents after that for a very long time.
That's true.
Because he had a very good foreign policy, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, there's a picture of him and Mao together.
Yeah, he improved relations with China and Russia. And
Great to
tried
see how that's going. Look at the Wuhan plague.
Ooh.
Oh
Not
boy.
good.
You know, I was reading a thread on Reddit earlier about a user that was basically predicting the projected infection and death rates.
Mhm.
And they're matching up with what the Chinese government is releasing.
That's not
I thought that's kind of interesting.
There's a video
That's all on that one.
taken from a apartment building. A woman and her son. She's explaining. I don't know what they're saying because it's in Chinese. but
Yeah, obviously.
She's explaining in Mandarin. She's explaining to her son what's going on, but there are 2 men in pink hazmats in a truck with a box in the back. This box is basically a cage almost because there's a woman on the street along with another person. They're embracing each other and they are both taken away, put into this box that can't be much more than the size of 2 people, and they are driven away. They are possibly killing these people.
Presumed dead, yeah.
I'm kind of feeling it. I feel deathly ill.
No, I think I recall seeing this. It could have been a fever dream, who knows. But I think I recall a video posted on Twitter in China of people armed with like what appeared to be fully automatic rifles.
The doctors
The doctors.
in hazmat suits.
Yeah, hazmat
yep.
suits. Yeah.
That did happen.
So that's a little worrying. That kind of, I mean, is it a human rights violation? Maybe.
Do the infected count as humans anymore?
I mean, I'd say so. If you have a cold, are you still not human?
I mean, it's like infectious. It's killing people at a mass rate. Or I mean, it's infecting people at a mass rate.
Yeah.
It's killing almost 700 people.
Can we get a rip for the whistleblower? Who was talking about it?
Yeah, the doctor who broke the case. The doctor
Yeah.
who broke the case died today.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
This man has a coronavirus.
Titanic.
Fake.
Yeah.
Did not happen.
It's a
Icebergs.
conspiracy.
If climate change is real, then the iceberg that sunk the
Ice should've been
Titanic
melted.
should have been melted. It should have been gone.
It was.
Anyway, back to the surveys. That's a good point. Good. So my survey's on climate change, right? And I get a whole lot of worrying answers from our school population, from our student body. And one survey from a senior male. These surveys are anonymous, so I have no way of knowing who it was. Anyway, they, when asked if climate change was real, they said no. On a scale of 1 to 10 on how serious the effects of climate change are, they said 1,
Very
being the
concerning.
lowest.
Concerning.
They don't see it as an immediate threat, and they voted no to like government intervention. Should companies be held accountable? But then when it came time to rate their knowledge of climate change and its effects, they voted themselves as a 10 out of 10,
That's
being the highest score. And then out to the side, they wrote it's fake. So that was interesting. I've seen some interesting responses on the gender selection. I've only had one other survey, and I promptly ripped it up.
Really?
Well, I folded it up and threw it in the folder. I'm not using data that I can't use.
Right? Because you can't make a graph out of one
Yeah, I
person.
can't make them the token other kid.
Yeah. They would have said
Just
yes
be-
for
ju-
everything then.
Yeah, just be honest with yourself also. Like,
Don't.
if you're transgender and you like are actually transgender, then you should probably just mark the gender that you identify as and not
That would make
other.
a lot of
That would make a
sense.
lot of sense.
That would make
If you're not lying
I wouldn't
and doing it
lie
for
to yourself.
attention.
Or other
Yeah,
people
really.
For any reason. It's
That's be true to yourself.
40% suicide rate going up.
You know, I've heard that statistic disputed a lot recently, but I can't find any figures backing either side
Yeah.
up, really.
However, Big Joe.
Big Joe.
I have a little figurine in my car that says Little Joe.
I voted you for tallest boy.
Tallest boy.
I vote Will McGee for tallest boy. That's not true. He's like 9 feet tall. This is actually elevated a lot. Just don't know it.
An upset of the, an interesting change was that the inclusion of obvious male Avery looking into the females. because
Yeah.
his- The first name Avery.
Which
apparently qualifies him as a female.
I voted
Not
him
him.
for something in the female category
That's-
because I thought it was really funny.
That is funny.
It's
unfortunate if you watch this Avery.
No, he
That is-
won't.
That's unfortunate.
Avery, I'm sorry,
I
but
wonder if
you
you've
know.
got that changed. I don't know.
Probably
Maybe you
not.
think it's funny.
So, not to sway anyone's voting, not that anybody in our class is gonna watch this one.
Zachary Kyle for best car.
No,
Zachary
actually,
Kyle for best
Daryl
car.
Pleasant for best car. That Impala is gorgeous.
I haven't seen it. I
Oh
haven't
man,
really close up.
it's very cool, very cool. For most changed boy, I voted you.
You think so?
Yeah, I did.
Hmm.
I can tell you why if you want.
Okay.
I mean, like, do you want me to do it now?
I-
Alright. I suppose I can do it now. So I voted you for most changed boy because from your freshman to senior year, not only have you had a glow up, but you also talk to people. You're in a relationship that your friends did not force you into, which is a big step. And you exist.
That's
Like you were a
sometimes-
presence.
Yeah, sometimes.
And it's cool to see.
Hmm.
People are scared of us. That's interesting.
Yeah, whole group.
Whole group of people
It's
are scared
actually
of
a
us.
gang.
Yeah, a
We are a
gaggle.
gang. We are an affiliated gang.
Yeah. We're
Um,
wearing different colors, so you can never tell what we're really part of.
Yeah.
We're part of
Um,
X's gang.
You can hire
You know,
us
the
if you want.
very important people or whatever he was on. We're both brothers. Dog's
Dog's
doing
doing
his
it
thing
again.
again. He's looking at me with those
If
eyes.
you can hire us to do anything you want. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
Not
Except
true.
for-
Not
except
true.
for fight people
Yeah, that's well
in school.
in school. Yeah, yeah, we'll say.
It's very cheap.
Yeah,
Sometimes we'll do it for free. Depends on our morals.
yeah. It depends who it is. Nothing good that comes from fights, nor brainless brawls on drunken nights. A foolish feud, a clash or two, is still a stupid thing to do. It's not a test of strength or skill. You could get killed, or you could kill. So when it comes to do your worst, I say in earnest, finish first. That's from Reddit user Poem for Your Sprog.
Hmm.
Kind of interesting. But how on a brain Ashton Baker, who you should not vote for class clown. I repeat, do not
Do
vote
not
him.
vote for class
Do not
clown.
vote him for class clown.
I did do that.
I voted Alex for class clown.
Oh.
Honestly, though, it should probably go to someone like Haven.
Right. I mean, he's probably gonna get it.
Yeah.
Marcus is a funny guy too.
Marcus is really funny, also. You've had some run-ins with Marcus, huh?
You can't talk about those.
Yeah.
Take comp. Well, actually, don't take comp.
Don't take comp. Don't take physics if you are interested in
If you
being a
value
happy person.
your free time and your happiness, don't take physics.
I do have a ton of homework because I made the bright decision to do Chem 2 and physics and trig and comp. And then a bunch of extracurriculars. Don't do what I did. Have fun in high school. Don't not have fun in high school.
Do extracurriculars.
Yeah, maybe do
Bring
marching
school.
band because they're not going to have anybody next year and they're going to need people.
It's the biggest sport. No, I mean in terms of
Like participants?
participants.
Probably.
It's very fun. It's way more fun than you.
It's
you
way
think.
more rewarding than you think.
If you are in band, you're considering marching band, but you're kind of
On the fence about
on the
it?
fence. I would give it a try.
I would,
at least
yeah,
once.
at least 1 year.
Band camp's the hardest part. Once
Yeah.
you make it past
Don't
that, it's
quit during band camp. You're
Everyone hates you.
a weak-willed, spineless coward if you do that. And I'll personally fight you myself.
Who is this?
I'm gonna go ahead and say my senior quote. It's a Jack Kerouac quote. He's an author. He wrote a couple books. Anyway, the quote that I chose, it's pretty simple. One day I'll find the right words and they'll be simple. Please stay tuned and thank you for watching.